last standard of this unit, IF 6 and 9, you are going to learn about how to calculate and interpret the average rate of change and comparing rate of change. The table below represents the linear function f of x equals 7.5x. Notice that as the x values increase by 1, f of x values increase by a constant amount, 7.5. In other words, the function grows by an equal amount, 7.5, in each interval. A linear function has a constant rate of change, meaning it's constantly staying the same. It is the same no matter what interval you are observing. The constant rate of change of a linear function is its slope. And you would remember that as m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Rates allow us to relate quantities measured in different units. For example, the table and graph below show a linear function that compares the number of hours a cashier works to his total earnings in dollars. What is the rate of change? So let's look at the graph first. That's going to be 30 minus 15 divided by 4 minus 2, 15 over 2, 7.5. So the slope of that graph is 7.5. Determine the average rate of change between several consecutive pairs of points for this function. Okay? Since we already know that y equals mx plus b, I know that the slope is going to be -3. A chemist heated a substance in the lab. The graph shows how the temperature changed over time. Find the average rate of change of the temperature. Then interpret the average rate of change means in this problem. Okay, so to do this, we're going to pick two coordinates. 0, 10, 2, 60. 0, 10, 2, 60. 60 minus 10 divided by 2 minus 0. And I get 50 divided by 2, which is 25. Now, we can go a step further. We can do 410, 2, and 60. And I'll still get 25. So the average rate of change, your slope, is 25. Now, I want to compare the rate of change for f of x equals -5x plus 1 and the function g, which is in the table below. Okay, f of x, I'm going to go ahead and look at it. Remember, y equals mx plus b. In this equation, my y-intercept is 1, and so my slope for f of x is -5. Now, I want to compare that. Which has the greater rate of change? So I'm going to compare that to the g of x. I'm going to plug in. I'm going to use these coordinates right here, which are 2, 1, 3, 3. Which is 2. 2 is greater than -5. That is the greater rate of change.